If you've been to a car dealership recently, there's a good chance the salespeople try to get you to lease a car. And most often, they make it sound so appealing. A brand new car with low monthly payments. Much lower than if you were to buy the car with a loan. You could imagine yourself just driving out the parking lot with that shiny new ride. However, what they don't tell you is that there are some major drawbacks to leasing a car. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the truth about car leasing. Why it might not be the best decision for you when you're thinking about acquiring that next vehicle. Hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, where we learn to grow our wealth slow and steady. Let's first talk about why leasing cars is so tempting. For one, the monthly payments are often lower than if you were to purchase the same car with a loan. This is because you're only paying for the depreciation of the vehicle during the lease term, plus any interest and fees. You're not paying off the entire value of the car like you would do with the loan. If you're tight on cash, this is super tempting. You not only get to drive a brand new car, but it feels like you're getting a deal with a lower monthly payment. Another reason people get tempted to lease a car is because you get to drive a brand new car every few years. With a loan, you're stuck with the same car until it's paid off, which will be at least several years. When your car is paid off, your car no longer has that new car feel you felt when you first purchased it. But with a car lease, you get to enjoy that new car smell every 2 to 4 years. Another reason leases are so tempting is that some leases also come with maintenance packages that cover things like oil changes and tire rotations. If you get annoyed by the constant oil change expenses and small maintenance fees you have to pay every time you visit the maintenance center, this too is also very tempting. And last is no resale worries. When you're done with the lease, you simply return the car. You don't need to worry about finding a buyer or go through the hassle of selling your car. The only thing you have to worry about is paying any end-of-lease fees, including those for abnormal wear or additional mileage on the vehicle. So as you can see, there are some definite advantages to leasing a car. That is, if you're only focused on the items we just talked about. Let's talk about some drawbacks of leasing. And there are some big ones at that. The first biggest drawback of leasing a car is that you're not building any equity in the car when you're leasing. Yes, cars depreciate in value over time, unlike a home. A well-purchased home will appreciate in value over time. But pretty much all cars are worth less today than they were yesterday. So it probably isn't the best place to try to build equity if you're trying to build wealth. However, when we compare the lease to a loan, at least with a loan, each monthly payment is bringing you closer to owning the car outright. When you've paid off the car loan, the car is yours, free and clear. But with the lease, you never own the car. At the end of the lease term, you simply turn in the keys and walk away. There is no equity to trade in or sell when you're done with the car. And if you decide you want to keep the car, you'll have to pay a hefty purchase price to do so. Or you have to start the process all over again with a new car lease. Therefore, when you lease cars, you're always making car payments because you're just jumping from one car to another. So if building equity in a vehicle is important to you so you can one day outright own it, leasing is definitely not the way to go. The second major drawback to leasing a car is that car leases often have very specific terms, and terms that are hardly ever in your favor. For example, most leases have a mileage limit. Generally, this limit is anywhere between 10,000 miles and 15,000 miles per year. If you go over that limit, you'll be charged per mile fee. For every mile that you add to your annual mileage, you can expect to pay anywhere from 10 cents to 50 cents per mile extra. And these fees can add up quickly. If you're someone who has had to travel frequently over the course of your lease agreement, you can expect to be paying substantially more out of pocket for these terms. According to the Department of Transportation, the average driver drives around 13,500 miles per year. So if you happen to be above the average, you can expect to pay quite a bit in mileage penalty when you're ready to turn your car in. Most leases also require that you get the car serviced at specific intervals and only use certain types of oil and filters. If you don't follow these terms, you could be charged a hefty fee when you turn in the car. And lastly, leases typically have a very strict guideline about what types of damages are considered wear and tear and what types of damages will result in fees. Should your car have any damages or wear and tear that has reduced its overall functionality or appearance, you can expect to pay additional fees for this as well. These types of additional leasing terms and expectations can often be what makes or breaks the leasing experience for many. If you don't want to have to deal with paying extra when something comes up for you, it's best to buy a car outright instead. The third major drawback to leasing a car is that car leases are not easy to exit, and when you try, you're hit with a hefty penalty. Leases are typically for a term of 2 to 4 years. And during that time, you're locked into making monthly payments. If you decide that you want to get out of the lease early, you'll be hit with a pretty big penalty. This penalty is typically equal to all the remaining monthly payments on the lease agreement. So if you have 2 years left on your lease and you decide to exit early, you can expect to pay all 24 of those remaining monthly payments as a penalty. And that's not even including any other fees or penalties that might be associated with early termination. Thus, most often, people are forced to see the lease through till the end, whether they like it or not. I know of many people who want to improve their finances by getting rid of their current car payments. Unfortunately, they realize too late that they're stuck in a car lease contract that has outrageous penalties for canceling early. If you're someone who likes to have the flexibility, or simply wants to be able to get out of their car lease agreement with that penalty, then leasing is definitely not for you. The fourth major drawback to leasing a car is that leased car insurance costs are often higher. When you lease a car, the leasing company will require that you carry full coverage insurance on the vehicle. The dealer wants the car back eventually in good condition, so they'll require that you insure it with good protection. And full coverage insurance is not cheap. In addition, many leasing companies also require that you purchase additional insurance coverage like gap insurance. Gap insurance covers the difference between what you owe on the lease and what the car is actually worth in the event that the car is totaled in an accident. And this coverage can also be quite expensive. As you can see, when you're leasing, you have a less say on a lot of the financial decisions. Decisions like how much insurance to have or not. So again, if you're someone who likes flexibility and is looking to keep your car insurance costs down, leasing a car is probably not the best option for you. The fifth major drawback to leasing a car is that you're not allowed to do any modifications to a leased vehicle. Are you the type that likes to make alterations to your car to customize it for your personal preference? Or maybe just something small, like tinting your windows because you like privacy? Well, if you're leasing a car, the probability that you can make such modifications is quite low. If you do make even small modifications, you'll likely need to revert it back to its original state, such as removing the tint from the windows before taking it back to a dealer. Leasing companies want the car returned to them in the same condition as when it was leased because they need to think about resale. So any modification that you do to the car will likely come with some penalties or even possibly void your lease agreement. So if you're someone who likes to personalize their cars or likes to modify them for any reason, leasing again is probably not the best option for you. The sixth major drawback to leasing a car is the fact that car dealerships highly market car leases, almost to a point of annoyance. When we lease a car, we're essentially just renting the car from the dealership for a set period of time. And at the end of the lease, we have to give the car back to them. So in essence, we're just giving the dealership money month after month with nothing to show for it at the end. And the car dealerships know this. This is why they're always trying to push leases on unsuspecting customers. It is ridiculously profitable for them. The dealership makes money on a car lease in several ways. First, the dealership will mark up the price of the vehicle above what it's actually worth. The difference between the actual value of the vehicle and the selling price is called residual value. The higher the residual value, the more money the dealership will make when the lease is up and the car is returned. In addition, the dealership will also charge interest on the lease. This interest is called the money factor. The money factor is similar to an interest rate, but is typically much higher. So not only will the dealership make money on the difference between the selling price and the actual value of the car, but they'll also make money on the interest charged in the lease. All in all, it's a great deal for the dealership, but not so much for the person leasing the car. My general rule of thumb is this: when a product is so highly marketed, I can't help but be suspicious of why. Most often, the company is marketing them so hard so they can best serve their customers. Rather, they market it because the margins on that product are so high compared to the other products. Be wary when you're being sold certain specific products. You aren't buying the product because you want it. Rather, you're buying because of the marketing. That's it, guys. I hope this gives you some additional information as you're weighing your options between buying and leasing. If you'd like to learn more about how car expenses affect our personal finances, check out my video here. Until next time, all the best.